orbamedia.com. All right, my guest this segment, Nick Santiago, President and CEO, InTheMoneyStocks.com. Nick, welcome back to the show.
Great to be back, Michael. Thank you for having me.
All right, my pleasure. You want to start off talking about the metals, right?
Well, I think we should talk a little bit about the precious metals. Today, as you know, I've been on your show on the last few weeks saying how I think they look pretty weak. Today, they all came into significant support levels. So, precious metals, while they're not very, very strong at the moment, they are showing that they could get some bounces from here. I don't think the bounces are going to be huge, but short term for a trader, you can look for a bounce for the next few days to possibly a week or so.
Okay. All right. You saying right now is a low?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying today.
Let's clear that up. Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much came in on the GLD down to around the 158.50 area. That's a significant support area. If it overshoots, goes a little bit lower, that wouldn't be a big deal. But at these levels, they look attractive for just short-term bounces.
Okay. When you say short-term bounces, let's define that a little bit as far as price and time.
Well, in time, it could be as little as 3 to 4 days. Price-wise, you'll get a retrace maybe. Just say, for instance, on the GLD, which today traded a low of 158.38. You could bounce back up to the 163 level, somewhere around there, maybe even to 166.
Okay. All right. What about the silver market? Or SLV? I was looking at the futures, and it finally filled a gap from August 22nd that has been hanging out there for a while, and it did that today. Are you thinking that maybe for a short-term trade you've got something to work with today?
Yeah. I think that you have a significant level right here today. I think the same thing for silver futures, gold, and gold futures. They're all due for short-term bounces right now. So I think we could bounce throughout the holidays on both metals. I just don't think the upside is going to be that robust. That's my only, fair warning to everybody. But, for a short-term trade, these are tradable now. I wasn't bullish on these, and I know a couple of weeks ago or even last week on your show I said, they're going to go lower. But now we're into the levels that we talked about. So, this is where you step up and take a little action.
Okay, well, I noticed a 200-period moving average on SLV. Today is running somewhere around 29.92 or so. Mm-hmm. Give me some resistance areas beyond that one that you think we might find places to unload the long or re-entry the short.
Yeah, I think you could get into a long here, or if it does fall over the next day or two into $28 level, I think that looks like a good attractive area too. But on the flip side, moving higher, you have these gaps on SLV that have not been filled. So, if you just look at those most recent gaps, you have one from basically, yesterday, which is around the 19th. What price is that? $30.15. You also have a little higher, a 50% retrace around $31. So, short term, you could easily get a push right back up into those levels. That would not be far-fetched by any means.
Okay. All right. We've covered that enough. Let's go on to Apple.
Yeah, Apple, today the stock is really all over the map. What I think traders really need to know about Apple, as long as it holds that level that it made, that low that it made on the 17th of December, theoretically the stock is still okay. It hasn't taken out that $500 level on close. Should it close below there, though, I think traders should be very, very concerned with Apple. This thing could easily trade into the 465 area and possibly lower. But right now, as long as Apple holds that most recent low made on the 17th of December, the stock technically, can rally up a little bit. Now, when the stock rallies, basically, if it can even do this, I'm not even sure it will happen. But if it ever rallied to around $600, maybe even a little bit lower than high fives, I think it would probably be a stone cold short.
Okay, so I'm starting to connect the dots with you on this one. On the weekly chart, the 50-period moving average of 573. That's that low, high fives, low underneath 600 you're talking about. So you think we may find some resistance at that 50-period average and then get another place to short this?
Well, yeah, either way right now, the $600 level is the place to short it. It might even be, back at that little pivot high from December 3rd. around 595. I mean, that's where I would get short.
Okay.
Prior to that, I mean, this is just a day trader's dream. You could day trade this stock back and forth for a couple points almost every hour. So, that's the positive. But outside of that, I don't think you really want to swing trade this thing right now.
Okay. Now, I know that you're an expert on cyclical analysis. Do you have any cycles because my numbers say look for a big top right in the week of the January 19th, 2021-ish. So are you thinking that this may gradually rise up into that 600 area in that time frame? Because that's like not very long. That's like 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. I mean, it can do it. I mean, right now the stock, though, just isn't showing us much strength, so I'm not even sure if it gets up there.
Okay.
But, I mean, if and when it does, I mean, that's the place to hit it is really on the short side is really around that $595, $600 level. And in the next couple of weeks, I'll have to adjust those numbers. Most likely those numbers would even be lower. But right now, I'm going to just stick with that $600 level, $595 in there. That would be your shorting area.
But I'm trying to narrow it down a time frame with you too, though.
I know, but I like your time frame. Put it that way. I do think second, third week of January would be a probable event. But this one is going to be more about level than time for me.
Okay.
Because you're going to have a ton of institutions dumping right at that 600 mark. I mean, they're going to be all over it on the short side too.
Okay.
And the people that have been stuck holding this, they get a retrace back to 600. They're going to have a breath of fresh air, and they're going to say, I want to get out of this thing.
They're going to take it. Okay, got it. All right, USO.
Yeah, the USO I wanted to bring up today because I really think that crude is very close to topping out if it did not top out today. So I really have a hard time seeing this USO trade much higher through this $33 level. Now, obviously, we know we were dealing with holidays and light volume, and generally oil will move up as, we come into a heavy travel season such as the Christmas and New Year holidays. So there's always a chance for it to go a little bit higher, but I really don't see much more upside in oil right now at all. If it wasn't for the holidays, I would short oil right here.
Okay. Well, being that we all live in the rural world, now that we do have the holidays, are you thinking sometime after the Christmas or something?
Yeah, I'm going to look at this really right after New Year's, and I think that might be the time to short oil.
New Year's, not Christmas.
Not Christmas, because what happens is Christmas you're going to have the light volume take over after Monday is going to be a half-day trading session. Then you have Christmas on Tuesday, which the markets will be closed. A lot of traders, including myself, will go on vacation. They'll take their holiday around that time. So I have to think the volume is just going to be too light.
Okay, we got a couple of minutes left. Let me throw one in for me. The U.S. dollar. I ran my numbers yesterday, using yesterday as a low, and it gave me a possible rally, 7-day cycle, giving us a possible top on the dollar on Wednesday, the day after Christmas. And I want to get your opinion on this stuff.
Well, I'm actually bullish the dollar right now. I think the U.S. dollar index, in fact, the March contract actually can run up to around 81.50. I mean, I don't see why it can't. Right now, the dollar has been defended here yesterday and today.
Right.
They've sold the dollar off this morning pretty sharply, and it's rebounded pretty nicely. So I actually think the dollar has a lot of strength here. Even if it breaks 79, on the weekly chart, there's just a lot of support on this dollar, even just below 79. So I'm bullish the dollar right now for the short term. I think this thing can push up into the 81.50 level. I'm not sure it's going to do it ahead of the holidays, but you get a fiscal cliff deal. I think that's got to be bullish for the dollar. I mean, anytime the government is going to cut spending and they're going to raise taxes, how can that not be bullish for the dollar? So just looking at the technicals too, I mean, they're pointing to a higher dollar price right now.
Got it. All right. We're going into the holiday season, but do you have any events coming up for our audience?
Yeah, we're going to have a host of events coming up in 2013. So I believe we are going to have a seminar on the 12th. It's going to be an advanced cycle webinar, I believe, on the 19th, and a regular in-the-money stocks methodology webinar on the 12th. So, traders come over to our website, click the education tab, and you'll see all of the dates posted there.
Great. Thanks so much, Nick.
Thank you, Michael. Have a great holiday.
You too. Everybody, that's Nick Santiago, President and CEO of InTheMoneyStocks.com. Coming up next, Christopher Vecchio, currency analyst at Daily FX. We'll be right back with all the foreign currency markets.